Live from Nashville, it's time for Outdoors with Doug Markham on Nashville's home for all things outdoors. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Let's go outdoors with Doug Markham today. There's no telling what we'll learn along the way. If it's hunting in the backwoods or fishing on the lakes, let's go outdoors with Doug Markham today.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show, Outdoors with Doug Markham, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good to have you here on this AM. Good morning to Jonathan Melcher. How you doing this morning, Jonathan?
Wide awake like every Saturday morning, Doug. How about you?
You been awake very long?
Does 4:20 count?
You must be pretty close, huh?
Well, at 5 a.m. it's about 10 minutes, but any other time of the day when the stoplights are actually working, it's closer to about 20.
Yeah, it's a little bit different on Saturday morning about 5, isn't it?
Yeah, it's I get my best mileage on Saturday and Sunday mornings whenever I'm driving and the stoplights are all flashing.
That's good. Well, I'm glad you're in here this morning. And as we get up here with the sportsmen and everybody, the ones that do have to work at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I appreciate that, Doug. Glad to see you here this morning as well.
Well, you know, I got a busy day for you again today. I worked you hard last week. And I'm going to work you hard today.
Yeah, like a mule.
Work you so hard that you're taking off next week.
Not quite the case, but that's just how it's falling.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jonathan, thanks for being here. We got a busy show today, and a show that I hope will be informative to a lot of folks, and we'll get some answers today from a lot of people about just so much going on. Okay? Now, I'll get to that in a minute. The show is brought to you by Murfreesboro Outdoors. Randy Bolin and crew over in Murfreesboro. Randy's going to be at the Turkey Show today. National Wild Turkey Federation is going on. It is a big show, and I will tell you, if yesterday indicated anything with it, today is going to be a shoulder-to-shoulder, side-by-side show. They walk up and down the aisles in this Opryland. It's a convention center. It is huge, and in the second hour today, I'll have somebody on talking specifically about the show that works for the NWTF. But anyway, Randy's going to be there today. If you don't make it to the show and you need some supplies, go see Sam, because he'll be over at Murfreesboro Outdoors till 6 o'clock today. Show is also brought to you by Phoenix Bass Boats. Gary's going to be on next week. Gary Klaus. You can check out their boats at phoenixbassboats.com. But Gary is going to be at the Classic next week, the Bassmasters Classic in Oklahoma. Some of you heard him talking about that last week. And he is going to give me a live interview from Oklahoma and let us know what's going on there. Next Saturday, hopefully Russ Lane and some of the other guys on Gary's team will still be among those competing for a lot of money and prizes in Oklahoma. And then the show's also brought to you by Nashville Marine, David McMurray and Group. And, man, they had a great looking spread last week at the fairgrounds, the boat and fish show over there. And I had a good show, I believe. And David also told me, and I haven't talked to him this week, that he has gotten in some G3s. And so in addition to the Phoenix Bass Boats, the glass boats, he's now got aluminum G3s, and those things are awesome. Anyway, he's open today out there by the lake till midday, and you can go see him if you want to go get you a boat today. So that's my sponsors, and I appreciate them working with me. And I will tell you today, the high today, and it's chilly coming in this morning when you're not used to it, but it's 40 degrees for the high today as you come in this morning. It's I didn't look up at my truck coming in, but weather.com says it's about 28 degrees right now in Middle Tennessee. Sunrise today, 6:33. Doesn't really matter all that much, does it? I can't think of anything where you have to worry about it too much today. You small game hunters have to the end of the month, but I doubt you're worried about getting out right at sunrise. But 6:33 is sunrise today. Wind today is going to be pretty tough. Northwest here in Middle Tennessee, out of Nashville at 15 miles an hour. So we're going to have some pretty good wind today, and be careful of that. But no precipitation is in the forecast today. So there's what's happening, and take your coats outside. If you're on the water, it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold out there, and if you're walking looking for rabbits, it's going to be cold out there too. Today's show will include Don King and Michael May of the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. They'll be on with me in a few minutes. They're going to be talking about a new phone app that TWRA has that you smartphone guys are going to love. It's going to help you to do a lot of stuff right there on your telephone, and it's an app that the agency's been working on for a while, and they're going to tell us about that. I'm going to have Clint Borum also on from the agency today. Clint works for the Private Lands Group, Habitat Group at TWRA, and he's going to be at the Wild Turkey Convention. I sat down with him the other day and did a short interview about why you should go see him today if you're a landowner. Stop by and see him if you can't make it to the show. Clint and the folks from the Natural Resources Conservation Service can transform your property into a thing of beauty and help you get wildlife habitat like you've never had before. He'll be talking about that. Josh Fleming is on in the second hour at the top of the hour. Josh works for the NWTF. He's going to tell us what's going on at the show today and why you should go down there and see what is one of the biggest outdoor shows in the country right here, taking place today and tomorrow in Nashville, Tennessee at Opryland's Convention Center, Gaylord Opryland's Convention Center. And we'll talk to him about parking. There is parking out there that's reasonable. It's like $5, and then you shuttle into the hotel. Otherwise, it's an arm and a leg. There is a place over that you can park for nothing on the mall side of the convention center and walk. It's not a terrible walk. If you like to walk or you're a big walker, it's no big deal. If you don't like to walk, you want to shuttle, okay, because it's a pretty good ways away. And then at 6:30 today, Senator Lamar Alexander is going to come on here and spend 15 or 20 minutes with us, and we'll be talking about the Corps of Engineers and his attempt to talk them into not putting cables across our rivers. And I'm going to ask him today if they're not going to listen, is he going to attempt to file legislation to stop the Corps of Engineers from putting cables across our rivers? And I hope the answer is yes. He is going to have a rally this week, and we'll talk more about that. He's going to be at Old Hickory Lake below the dam on Thursday at 11 o'clock. And he'll be up on the land below the dam, but he's going to be there at 11 o'clock, and we'll talk more about that in the show. But he'll be they're calling it a public event. You can call it a rally, you can call it whatever. But I hope as many sportsmen during the week that can go will be there. And some folks say, why is he doing it in the middle of the day? One, he's a very busy senator, but two, that's when you get your press coverage so you can show it at night. You got to have it there and get that done. And we want folks to know about this. It needs to go out nationally. And I've been thinking about this even more. This thing's so disturbing to me. I hope that we get legislation passed. And these places where the Corps has already put cables across our rivers across the country, I hope they have to take those down. Not only not get them down here, take them down everywhere. Why do we have them? Why are you blocking off our access to our waters anywhere in the United States? And I know that's more than one thing at a time. We need to take care of one thing at a time, but if you're going to write legislation, write it to where they have to take them down everywhere and give us access to our waters because we don't need them there. I bet safety records are good in other parts of the country too if you get to looking at all that stuff. Eddie Cothran called me last night. Eddie Cothran works for, he does volunteer work for the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency as a hunter education a hunter education volunteer. And Eddie is fantastic. He's one of those great volunteers that's always working with TWRA. And he wanted me to remind all you older guys that don't hesitate to take your hunter education if you plan to go out west to do your hunting this year, because if you go out in a lot of those states, you're required to have hunter education no matter what your age is. And he says May, June, and July is when courses are offered, but when the number of participants is low. And that's when you should consider taking your courses. And you can go to tnwildlife.org and sign up right there. Then go out to Stones River or wherever you want to go, whatever county you might need a course in, where they're offered, and take it and go ahead and get it out of the way. It's also required at Fort Campbell and I think LBL, just mandatory. You have to have hunter education. Okay, and then today I want to talk about Jimmy Holt a little bit too before the show's over. Jimmy is in Skyline Hospital, and Jimmy, I think, is going to be okay, but he's had a tough time, and some of you don't know Jimmy. Many of you do. Jimmy's a legend here in Middle Tennessee for his work on the Tennessee Outdoorsman Show and been suffering through a little infection lately and been in a little intensive care. But the doctors are working on him, and he looked a lot better yesterday. I'll talk about Jimmy more in the show. Going to take a break. I do have some stuff to give away today. I got a few tickets to give away to the Turkey Show, and I got a couple fishing packages. And Jonathan, everything but the Turkey Show stuff will be left right here today, okay? We'll just do that. We'll be right back.
This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Catfish, boogie, woogie, boogie, woogie, boogie, woogie. Catfish, boogie, woogie, boogie, woogie, boogie. We fished for a while, caught a great big mess. A long string of blue cat happiness. She smiled at me and her eyes did roll. She said, set your pole and let's take a stroll. We walked along the creek, me and my miss. She gave me a hug and a great big kiss. She held me close and said, I love you. I said, I got all of this and fishing too. Catfish, boogie, woogie, boogie, woogie, boogie, woogie.
Welcome back, everyone. Outdoors with Doug Markham, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, and good morning to Clint Borum, my guest for this segment. Clint, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks for having me.
Sure. This National Wild Turkey Federation rolls around every year. It's like it's here in about 30 days. And Clint's always there. He's the TWRA Private Lands biologist, one of them, and does a lot of work, stays on the road. We're going to explain that real quick and tell you where you can find him today. And if you're a landowner out there that has some property that you want to transform into a thing of beauty, Clint's your man. Right, Clint?
I'm the guy.
All right. Clint, you also work with the NRCS. Explain, just in a nutshell, explain what your project is, what your program is.
Several years back, Doug, the agency created this private lands section out of our wildlife management division, and we did that by partnering with NRCS. NRCS has millions of dollars at their fingertip to work with private landowners to do conservation-friendly practices. So they partnered with us, and we created 4 positions across the state, one in each region of the state. Mine is specifically Central Tennessee, and we have a biologist in West Tennessee, on the Plateau, and in East Tennessee. And we work hand in hand with NRCS biologists in helping get the best conservation practices that we can on the ground for private landowners that are interested in doing wildlife management.
What does NRCS mean?
NRCS used to be the old ASCS office, as most people used to call it, Soil Conservation Service. They changed their name to the Natural Resource Conservation Service.
But are they TWRA or are they something
They're
else?
a federal organization that deals specifically with the Farm Bill.
Okay, and you're Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
That's correct.
Okay, all right, working together, that's a cool thing. So if somebody, you have a booth, you're part of the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency booth, and the guys from NRCS are going to be with you. If somebody wants to come down to the show today or tomorrow and meet you and sit down with you, what can you do for them?
We can actually sit down at the show today and tomorrow, and we're going to have our computers on hand with some GIS technology, and we can pull a landowner's farm up, the map, with the aerial imagery,
Cool.
and sit and talk about some specific management strategies that they may be interested in doing. What we can do is set an appointment up with that landowner and do a site visit later on down the road to where we come out and help them write a true habitat management plan based on their goals for that particular piece of property.
You've been doing that now for how many years?
About 6 or 7 years now.
And what kind of success rate do you feel like you're seeing?
We've had some great success, and I'm beginning to see a lot of that on the ground now. These projects that we started 3, 4, 5 years ago, landowners are beginning to call me saying they've seen their first covey of quail, or they took a really nice buck, or the turkeys have begun nesting on their property. A multitude of different things, but right now we're just getting into the results phase of it all.
For somebody to come in and sit down with you, how much time are you talking about?
We can spend as much time as they want to. We can do 5 minutes and go over a brief rundown of their property and some non-specific recommendations. Or if they want us to sit down and come up with a complete, entire whole farm management plan, we can do that too. The best thing to do so we don't spend too much time in one spot on today and tomorrow is, we can get their contact information, take that down, and after the show we can get a hold of them and really spend some quality time with each landowner, really doing a detailed management plan on their property.
And Clay, if somebody can't make it to the show, we'll give your number and information away. We'll get them time to grab a pen because they can come see you, right?
That'll be great. 365 days a year,
That's what
every
you do.
day. We're available, and that's what we're here for, is to work with private landowners who are interested in improving their property for wildlife.
The other day you were heading to Dixon, Tennessee, and you were telling me on the phone that this was a real success story for this one guy. Tell them a little bit about this one. You don't have to say names and all that, but just an idea. Right.
It really blew me away, but we went to a 1,000-acre farm, I believe it was on Tuesday of this week, or last week, and this farm is estimated to have 27 coveys of wild quail on it.
People would go crazy. I told somebody that the other day, and I thought they were going to drop the phone.
It really did amaze me, and at first I was in disbelief, but when we got there, I could truly see it. This is due to intensive management and a plan that got started 10 years ago or more, but we're coming in to help reconfigure some of those fields that have gotten out of shape and get them back into usable space for quail to hopefully even improve on that number of 27 coveys and get it up to maybe 40 or 50 coveys on 1,000 acres.
It's possible, huh?
It's absolutely possible.
Does TWRA and RCS still do seed distribution or any of that stuff, or work with any of the federal and state programs?
We don't do so much seed distribution distribution anymore, Doug, is we do cost share programs, and all of the plans that we write up, I'll discuss with each of the landowners about their options for potential cost share on these projects.
And what does cost share mean?
You can get up to 75% cost share to implement good habitat on your property, to do the tree plantings, to do the native grass plantings, to put in your perennial food plots. You know, to get this plan implemented, these programs that NRCS and the Farm Bill provides, and also we have some programs through the state and through TWRA that can offer landowners cost share to do the work.
And I know we don't want to get too much into this, but where are we with the Farm Bill, Clint? What's the prognosis there?
Right now, we're still in limbo, really, with the new Farm Bill, but we've agreed to carry some programs over through the next fiscal year, and we do have some cost share dollars available through NRCS. And we have some plans that are in the system getting ready to get funded. And we also have a good bit of money through TWRA and through a program called the Farm Wildlife Habitat Program, which will help landowners implement some of these projects too.
Where are you at the show? When they get to Opryland or the convention center, explain as best you can of where you are.
The best way that I know how to explain it is we're in the side room. Usually it's over where all the NWTF Jake's events stuff is, and I think Michael Waddell was over there last year, but it's in a separate side room, and we've got a big booth set up, and I've got several biologists there from across the state that will be able to talk to anybody from East Tennessee all the way to West Tennessee, and take your contact info and pull up some maps or whatever it is you want to talk about with private lands wildlife management.
Okay, you'll find us. Plus, they have directories there that can help find us. Look for the deer heads too. We'll have some deer heads there from a poaching case a few years back that's been there. But the main thing is going to be Clint and the guys there, private lands program, and also pre-selling licenses. The agency will sell licenses there. It's a couple of days before we can hand them to you, so they'll mail them to you. All right, Clint, let's give them your contact information. If you can't make the show, how do they find Clint Bourne?
You can go to our website, tnwildlifehabitat.org, or just tnwildlife.org, and look under Habitat Assistance, and you can find my contact information. But it's Clint Borum, clint.borum at tn.usda.gov is my email, and give me a shout anytime, and I'll be glad to come out and have a site visit with you, or just talk to you about general habitat practices.
And I'll put that out on my Facebook page. It's Doug Markham Outdoors. I'll put out Clint's contact information to help you out a little bit there. And one telephone number, is there one we can give them into the Nashville office?
Yeah, you can call 615-781-6610.
Okay.
And our secretaries will get you in touch with me ASAP.
781-6610. Clint, thanks a lot. We'll see you down at the show.
Look forward to seeing everybody there.
All right, thanks. All right, everybody, welcome back. I appreciate Clint for talking to me, and Clint's down there along with the NRCS guys. And I was fortunate enough to sit down on Thursday with the chief, the top guy in all the NRCS. His name is Jason Weller, and I did an interview with him that I will air later this year. But he was accepting an award from the NWTF for stewardship. For the NRCS was getting a stewardship award from the National Wild Turkey Federation, and his name's Jason Weller, and I really enjoyed him. Guy looks like he's 25 or something, and he's heading the NRCS, and a really busy guy. So anyway, go see the guys down there today. They do a great job, and they will help you out. Now, for a couple minutes before we take a break, I have in here Michael May and Don King. Michael is the Chief of Information Technology over at TWRA, and Don, who you've heard on here many times, either on air with me or singing, which is on air with me too.
You're right.
He's the Chief of I&E, Information and Education at TWRA. Guys, welcome into the show. And thanks for coming in at 5:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Thank you, Doug.
No problem. Thank you.
Perfect directions, wasn't it, Michael?
I looped around a few times, but I'm good to go.
10 Music Circle East is kind of hard to find, even though it's right by the interstate. It's just a confusing sort of place to find here at WTM, but we're all here. And guys, I appreciate it. And we're going to talk about this morning some technology, and then I'm going to get you back in the fall and talk about it again, okay?
That'll be great.
Sure.
TWRA is moving on, Don. Since you've been there, a lot of things have happened with the agency moving into the technological world, and we're just trying to keep pace with everybody else and get hunters and fishermen involved, right?
That's right. You know, for a long time, it's just been our hunting and fishing printed guides, and over time the internet has come along, and we embrace that as time has gone along, and have really tried to put more and more information out there, and now along with outlets like your radio show from week to week to get the information out. It's great that you've invited us to come in and spend a little time with you and let you know what's going on with this thing. But in this day and time, the melding of the normal ways we get information out with the technological side that Michael's heading up at the Wildlife Agency now. It's great. We have a good working relationship, and our teams work well together. And so when we first started talking about this, I said, "Hey, Michael, you need to come down and be on Doug's show with me." And he said, "Oh yeah, great." So anyway, Michael does a fantastic job of getting the things together that from the technical side that we need to accomplish this, and this is just going to be such a great convenience for the hunter, and I don't want to talk the whole time, but
No. Well, it's a good segue. It's getting us started where we've got to be. Michael, we'll introduce you properly when we come back. But this is interesting. This is going to be good. This is a way for you guys that have smartphones and that you'll be able to do things in the field you've never been able to do standing right in the field. Right?
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
You're gonna love it.
Always do the old-fashioned way, but the new stuff is pretty exciting.
Yeah, all right, we're going to talk about that. Michael May will be on when we come back. They're both sitting here. I got them to the top of the hour, and we'll cover a lot of ground today. Going to answer a lot of questions, and also you'll be able to see some of this out on the TWRA website, right?
Fantastic.
Okay. Outdoors with Doug Markham, Super Talk 99.7 WTM. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's Tennessee's wild side that makes you wanna go find a natural way of living waiting just outside your door. Every day's a new adventure and it's right before your eyes. Spend a little time on Tennessee's wild side.
All right. Good job, Don.
Hey, thanks, Doug.
That's awesome. Don is the voice of TWRA for many years, and if you watch the Tennessee Wild Side every week, that's what you hear the show start with. And Don, I love that song, and I always loved your voice. You know that.
Appreciate that. Thanks, Doug.
How's the show doing?
Doing well. 12 years. It's hard to believe it's been that long.
Crazy.
But it's doing really well, and continues to get nominated for Emmys every year. Some years it wins several, and it has in the past. And gosh, it's the team there at the Renaissance Center does a great job for us. And
they do. Barry Cross, Ken Tucker, all those guys out there, and Doug Jackson out there. All those folks have worked together a long time. And who am I missing?
Steve Hall.
Yeah, of course, Steve Hall.
Ken, yeah. So it's a good show, and it really helps us to get the word out from an agency standpoint and show the breadth and the depth of stuff that our agency does. Really, there's a lot of things that beyond just selling hunting and fishing licenses that our agency does that I learn from time to time. I go, wow, I didn't realize we were involved in this.
Yeah, it's amazing, and Michael is sort of part of some of that stuff. You think, wow, do we do that? Anyway.
I know, yeah.
All right, well, let's introduce Michael May. I got in here with me this morning. Don King is the Chief of Information Education at TWRA, and now in here also is Michael May. He's the Chief of Information Technology. And what's the difference in I&E and technology? What's that mean, Michael?
One letter. You have I&E, and then we have IT.
IT, that's right. What do you do?
Well, we get that mixed up quite a bit with people, I think. But basically, the IT section, we do all the programming and all the technical support, desktop and help desk support. And we also do GIS and
GIS is geographic information mapping, geographic information system, and other stuff.
Correct, and there's a lot that goes into that. We can definitely go out and using geo coordinates and map all of our WMAs, our fishing spots, and boat ramps. We do all of that, and we keep track of those throughout the entire state.
So if somebody comes onto the website, at TWRA's website, and they go in and they put Percy Priest in the search box, a map pops up, GIS did that?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And has GIS and the world of technology made it easier to map these days to update a map real easily?
It could not be done without them.
And couldn't.
That is what they do.
That is what they do. Well, that's awesome. And your division takes in a whole lot of different stuff, including the website now.
Correct.
So, all right. And you also are now working on a big project, have been working on a big project that will help folks that are holding the phone like I've got right here, this iPhone, open up a brand new world to them. A lot of people have smartphones. What is a smartphone, and what are applications for smartphones?
Well, typically people think of a smartphone as being an iPhone or one of the Android type of phones,
Okay.
where you can download applications, and those applications can allow you to do various things. I guess you've got the most of the popular ones are the music ones, the free music downloads like Pandora or whatever like that, and then you've got your banking apps, mapping. Like Google Earth, that's a good app. A lot of those types of apps that we talk about, people call them apps, are basically applications that can download and help you do things on your phone.
Okay. Weather apps. I mean, I have about 5 weather apps on here, so I can see what's going on everywhere all the time.
Correct, right.
So,
Those are very useful.
On and on and on, and everybody's got their favorite apps out there. But now TWRA, we hope, Tennessee Wildlife will become their favorite app, right?
Oh, we think it will be.
Yeah? What is this app? That I'm going to ask you when it's going to come out, but what's the name of this app going to be?
We're just going to call it the TWRA Mobile Web App.
Okay. And when will this app, before we talk about what's going to be on it, when will it be available?
We'll have it coming out on midnight on Sunday evening, getting ready for the new license year on the 18th.
Okay, on the 18th. All right, February 18th is when the agents can legally.
Right. On Monday. You get up Monday morning, it'll be there ready for you.
President's Day.
Yeah, and right in line with new license sales.
Yeah, right.
Or you can be there like me at midnight, 12:01, and be ready to go.
You're not gonna be worried, are you, Michael?
Oh, no. But I'm going to be out there and playing with it right off the bat.
Yeah, but we're off that day. The state's off. You're gonna still do it.
He'll have all day to play with it.
I'll have all day to play with it.
All right. And the good news before we get into the app is no increases this year in licenses.
Right.
We're like the only people in the United States without an increase in something.
I know.
Right.
So remember that, folks, down the
We're
road.
really proud of that, too.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear. But the new year for annual licenses does come up. You have to have them by March the 1st. All right, Michael, this app is going to allow you to do what?
Originally, we were going to just have it for harvesting reporting, and we were able to work with our company, Active Outdoors, who hosts our reel system on the back end that keeps track of all these databases. And they worked with us diligently on this for nearly a year, and they were able to bring to the table license sales and boat renewals as well. And in addition to our harvest reporting, we were able to add a functionality that allows the hunter to get in there and take a look at their harvest log and diary.
Okay. All right. Well, let's back up on that a little bit. So I got this app now. I'm in the field. I've just bagged a turkey because that's what it's going to be ready by turkey season.
Right.
I've just taken a big gobbler somewhere, and I want to check it in layman's terms. What do I do with my telephone?
Well, I tell you what, back up just a little bit further, if you don't mind,
Nope.
just to make sure that we understand what we had to do. We had to do a few things differently as an agency on this. With the advent of the mobile app, we had to figure out a way to have individuals harvest their animals, their big game animals, and which really meant in a nutshell that we had to go away and leave behind us the temporary kill tag, paper tags. And so now we're moving from a temporary kill tag method and going to a harvest log method. And
A digital or electronic
it'll
log?
be either paper or electronic. You can do it either way.
Okay.
And so we'll be able to, when you go out and you buy a license, really, like any kind of license that would typically have a kill log associated with it and print off with it, it'll now print off a harvest log instead. You can annotate on there, just write down on there what your confirmation number is and the age the sex and type of animal, and there you go.
Okay, so you'll have a confirmation number, but you still said paper. Paper won't be involved with that, but if you want to do the old style way, go into a check station, and you'll still get paper there.
Right, and this is really important to understand that mobile is just an additional way, an additional convenient way for the hunter to go in and do their business with the agency. So the POS transactions at the agents are still applicable.
Point of sales transactions, okay.
Right,
Yeah,
point of sale transactions with the agents are still there. Obviously, so people can go to their favorite agent now and just do a transaction there if they so wish. or they can do it like we've been doing it on the internet for about a half a dozen years now. And in addition to that would be mobile. So we're not substituting anything. We're just giving the people an additional way to do it.
Doing more customer service. So with folks that are getting into all of this technology, and speaking of the internet, we were talking about it in the break, and you don't know exact numbers, but it's increasing the number of people that are using the online checking for TWRA stuff.
Correct. We've got a very significant portion of our sales are online internet sales, and it's rising. And we believe with the advent of the mobile that'll continue to rise.
Okay, all right. So we know now you'll be able to go on there and get a confirmation number. And what's going to be, what will happen with that confirmation number? How will you show that you took an animal on a certain day, and how quickly do you have to check it in if you're out in the field?
Oh, sure. It's a good idea. What they've changed now is if you're out in the field, you don't have to do anything until the end of the calendar day. You don't have to annotate on a log if you don't want to, but you can.
Okay.
Definitely. But the fun thing about the mobile is when you're out there in the field, you can actually go to the mobile device and enter in a harvest report in your tree stand and say, I took this animal, and harvest it right there and report it on mobile and continue hunting without even leaving.
Okay, and that is, of course, know the law, because there's certain seasons where you can take more than one big game animal while you're out there. But
Right.
for instance, you're hunting turkey, if you bag one, you're done. But I guess if you're out there with a friend or out there with your son or your daughter, then you could still stay out there. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Okay, we're going to get into more, because there's more to it than just harvest information.
Correct.
There's boat registration, you said?
Right.
And some other stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to talk more about that. Michael May is my guest. Don King's my guest. And this is cool. So TWRA going to get an app.
Yeah.
And what's our little icon going to look like, Don? Do you know yet?
Agency logo.
The agency logo. Wow. That's creative. Actually, it's the best thing. That's what it ought to be. All right. I tell you what, let's give away a prize, Jonathan. Trout. I got a pretty big trout package here. It's got 3 things of Berkeley Pyrex in it, and some gulp worms. They're chartreuse looking things, and a little bag of gulp, a 2-inch pincher crawl. Anyway, it's all for trout, okay? The bag isn't worth a dime. But the prize in it is caller 13. Going to leave it here at WT, and everything's here this week, other than the turkey tickets at the end. 737-9986, 737-9986. Caller 13 will be back.
Need to know more? Log on to 997WTN.com.
At my door, the leaves are falling. The cold, wild wind will come. Sweethearts walk by together, and I still miss someone. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, Don. That was good. I wanted you to play more. That's great. What's the name of that song?
I still miss someone. Old classic Johnny Cash song I had the pleasure of recording back a while ago.
A while back. All right.
Yeah.
Don King. And Don, you've been in the music business a long time and done some fantastic work through many years.
Yeah, I tell you what, it opened the doors to introduce me to the agency way back when.
You became, you still today, you're the chief of I&E, but information education, but you've been the voice of TWRA since when?
About 1975.
Okay, gosh, Don. 1975.
Yeah, I got recruited back.
Recruited
back then.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your line that people hear the most when you're the voice of TWRA?
Hey, I'm Don King for your Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, reminding you to put the plug in your boat before you launch it this spring, or something to that effect.
I know a lot of people just recognize that. Anyway, Don, that was great. Marcus Wilson, you are the winner of Madison of this trout package. It's going to be left here at WTN, and you folks that trout fish over in Williamson County, going to be stocked this week on the 22nd, which is Friday, at Pinkerton Park, not at the low water dam that they've been stocking at. The agency has been for the last few years because they've done some work over there and they're revegetating. It will be at Pinkerton Park, 9, 10 o'clock, right around there, and you'll have trout, several hundred trout put into the water right there. And I think McCutcheon Creek is also going to be stocked on the same day over in Murray County, so you got that to look forward to this week. Don King is my guest. Michael May is my guest. Michael is the Chief of Information Technology over at TWRA, and we've been talking about this new app that's going to be on smartphones that actually allow you to go in and record your harvest from the field on a mobile app. And we're going to reiterate a thing or two, and then I'm going to ask you questions about what else to do. But again, as far as it's not replacing anything, right? It is a new something.
Correct. We're not replacing anything. We're just adding a new convenient method for the hunters to get out there and have a little bit of fun.
Okay. And if you want to listen to this later, you're going to put it up on the TWRA website at some point?
Yes.
And also there was a video presentation you made to the commission, the Wildlife Commission, just this week, and that will be out on the website too. Correct.
I presented an actual demo using an iPhone at the commission meeting on Thursday, this past Thursday, and we've INE's team went ahead and condensed that and edited that, and we're getting ready to put that on the website to be ready to be shown, I think, on Sunday night as well.
Good deal.
Yeah, you'll be able to see all the screens and how the navigation works, which is real simple, very straightforward. Each screen leads to the next screen, and it's very user-friendly.
Self-explanatory. Tennessee, it's tnwildlife.org, tnwildlife.org, or
Correct.
if you put in a search box Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, to come up all over the place.
Yeah, it'll go right there.
Be the first thing you come to. All right, Michael, what else will this app are we going to be able to do?
Well, you can buy a license on here. You can buy fishing licenses, hunting licenses, and you can keep that on your phone. That's one of the fun things about it. You can, once you purchase a license, you keep that. You'll get it emailed to you or a text message sent to you, and you can keep that PDF that's embedded in the email on your phone, and that you don't have to carry your paper license anymore if you want to use it on your phone.
So you just show that?
Correct. You can just show that. And then when you harvest it, you'll have the harvest log inside the app, and you can keep all of your harvest information on your phone, your license on your phone, and there you go.
And you can, if you take 5 minutes to learn how to print it, you can print it out from that phone too.
Absolutely. Or you can just go home, since you have it emailed to you. You can go home on your computer and print it out. You can have it in your pocket. What we've done is just give you another way. It's not a substitution. Okay. It's just an additional way you can continue doing what you've done before if you want to.
And getting back to the harvest information, because a couple of questions you had provided me that I didn't ask. If somebody wants to go to a taxidermist, and that's important, they always have had to have that harvest tag, or if they want to go have their animal processed, they've always had to have the harvest or kill tag. If you've got what do you do if you're doing it with this phone?
It's pretty easy. You just go ahead and take your phone, you go into the app, and you go into the harvest portion of it, and you give that taxidermist that information from your phone.
The confirmation number?
Correct, and all the other pertinent information that they need off of that harvest, and they can write it down in their ledger, and you keep your phone, and you walk away, obviously, and you're good to go.
Man, that is cool.
Yeah, very easy.
And you said it is for the iPhone, Apple iPhone, and also for Android. What other will it?
Yeah, you can actually use it on any kind of tablet as well. So a smartphone, tablet, and really any kind of other device that has internet access, you can utilize it for.
I could do it on my iPad.
You can.
Okay.
And even if you have a step back from a smartphone, so to speak, to I've heard them call them feature phones, that anything that you can access the web on. All right. And even the ones that you don't have to pay for the data plan and all that stuff with. If you can get to an internet screen on your phone, you can use this application, and it'll work just fine.
That's right, because it's this one's basically an optimized website, so you can utilize it on anything that has internet access.
Okay, come back. What's an optimized website?
What we do with that is we just make a really complicated looking website look very easy to see on a regular small phone. So the buttons are nice and big. It's not crowded with a lot of text. It's very easy to see. That's basically what an optimized website means.
Okay, all right, cool deal.
Sometimes you look at a website on your phone, and the text is so small, and you got to scroll around and expand and all that. You don't have to do that with this. The buttons, like Michael said, are big and very, very evident of what you need to do to navigate this thing.
Okay, and they're just now turning on the radio and saying, "What the heck y'all talking about?" When? And they probably didn't hear, when is it available? When will this go into effect? When will somebody be able to go on? And I need to ask, is it going to cost anything?
It is absolutely free to use this. The cost to do any of the transactions on the mobile will be identical to the cost and fees that you see on the internet. So no changes in that at all.
Okay, that is cool. And when does it go? What day?
Monday.
Monday.
We're good to go
this
on
Monday.
the 18th, right, for new license sales.
Okay, and is it as easy to go on there to buy a license off of the phone? Is it the same thing as it is off of the website?
It is identical, and I'll tell you, I think it's a little bit easier to do on the phone. To be honest with you.
Now you can go to your license agents, of course, and buy that the real system.
Yep.
Those little things that look like credit card machines and work through your real system. But if you and it doesn't cut, you're not charged. I think you're charged $1 for a license fee.
Right.
But if you go on the TWRA's website and order it, or if you go on the app, is it a few bucks more?
It's actually $3 to do it on the internet, and it'll be the same for mobile. It's just the fee transaction for that is just a little bit more because of the service.
It's the price of technology and comfort, right?
But it's a lot cheaper than driving a
It
long
is.
way to go somewhere, so I think it's a little bit more convenient.
No, I think it's cool. I'm glad to see that we're going there with that. Anything? I'm just looking at your last question here. Oh, that's a good one too. How many animals can you put if you've harvested? Some deer hunters go out and they may take 10 deer a year, 12 deer. That's in the 1 or 2%. So how many times can you go on this thing and checking deer?
You keep on checking as many deer as you want legally. on the mobile app, you're good to go. If you have a paper harvest log, which will print on the bottom off a regular license that you see right now, if you go into one of your agents, that'll have 3 lines on there for you to be able to harvest or record a harvest, and you can get multiple harvest logs. So one that's printed off at an agent will have 3 places for you to put it on. You can get more, or you'll have the ability to print off some harvest logs on the internet website, and just as many harvest logs you can pull down and use. There's no really limit. It just
Bottomless.
just have to make sure that you're legal though.
Okay. When I want an app, and I'm really average at my smartphone, but when I want an app, I go to in my case, the Apple Store or whatever, and I'll put in the search box what I'm looking for. How are you going to be able to find the TWRA app?
We're going to be able to have a link to that on our website, or you can just go to gotwra.org. That's gotwra.org.
Okay, easy enough. You guys are going to stick around, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
We'll recap this again in the second hour. Coming up, I've got Josh Fleming of the National Wild Turkey Federation after the break. And then at the bottom of the hour, Senator Lamar Alexander is going to be on here, and we're going to discuss what's going on with the Corps of Engineers. You got a rally this week at Old Hickory Dam for the sake of sportsmen, trying to
Awesome.
stop this Corps of Engineers from putting down these barricades.
That'd be great.
Okay? Thursday, mark it down on your. If you can't go, think about it and watch it on the news that night. All right. When we come back in the second hour, I'm going to give away some tickets to the National Wild Turkey Federation, and I got one more really nice little bass gift here, but we'll do that in the second hour. You ready, Jonathan? Coming up on the news, Outdoors with Doug Markham, Super Talk 99.7 W10. We'll be right back.